In this video, I will be talking about stocks and or money management. Please keep in mind that I am not a financial advisor. The strategies and the money decisions that I implement are based on my personal financial situation and my goals. How I decide to invest and manage my money may not be the correct strategy for you. You should not take anything said during this video or on the website www.wealthinspiredstudenteducation.com as financial advice. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. All right, hello. So today I am going to be talking about why are you investing? What's your purpose? What's your end game? What's your goal? I see a lot of people are getting into the stock market right now, and they're just putting money in there, and they're like, "Oh, I'm making some money," or "I bought this stock and it went up," or "I bought this Bitcoin and it went up." And my question to you is, what's your end game? Like, are you just, what is your purpose of doing that? It's again, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have something, somebody says to me, somebody says, I want to lose weight, so there's a difference in someone who's like, I want to lose weight versus someone who is like, I'm getting married in a month and I need to fit into my dress. Okay, one person is probably going to lose more weight than the other person because they have an end game, they have a reason. They're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, if you're just investing, you're like, I think I'm going to make some money here, I'm going to invest in the stock. You're not going to do that well investing your money. And what I want you to also understand is that right now, when I'm making this video, the stock market has been going up. We've had a bull market for almost a year. Well, not almost a year, but close to it, maybe 10 months, since this crash right during when COVID hit, got big, like around April of 2020. The stock market dipped down a bunch, but then it's been literally coming back ever since. So a lot of people are getting into the stock market, and they're just like, the only experience they've had is stocks go up. I invest in this and it goes up. It's great. This is investing is awesome. And I don't think they're prepared for how to deal with a down market, because the market does come down. And it will happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen this month or this year or whenever it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And I'm curious as to all these people who are investing right now, when the market goes down for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, how are they going to react? Are they going to just blame the president? So, or are they going to understand that this is the way the stock market works? So my point is, uh, here's some questions. So just questions to ask yourself as you start investing. What are you doing with your investing dollars? So, are you investing in the stock market? I'm just talking about stock market right now. I'm not talking, but I mean, these questions could apply real estate. They could apply for royalties, passive, whatever you're doing, Bitcoin, whatever you're investing in. You want to ask these questions. What is your end game? So, for example, are you investing for retirement? Right? Because by asking these questions, it's going to determine how you invest. What do you invest in? What's the time frame you're looking at? If I want to go on a trip, let's say I want to go to a trip. I live in New York and I want to go to LA. Is my goal to get there as fast as possible? Right. So, and if it is, then I'm going to take an airplane, right? But I got to plan the rest of the trip. How do I get to the airplane? Am I going to drive? Am I going to park and then pay money for, how long am I going to be in LA? Am I going to park in long-term parking? Am I going to be there for a month? So then am I going to get an Uber to get to the plane? When I land from the plane, how am I going to get to wherever I'm going? Do I have a hotel plan? Am I going to get an Uber there? Am I going to get somebody to pick me up? So there's all kinds of uh, you know, decisions that you have to make. But maybe I want to go to LA and I'm just traveling because I want to see the country. Then taking a plane is not the best um, thing for me to do. I'll just be sitting in a plane. So maybe I'm going to drive across the country. Maybe I'm going to take a train across the country. Maybe I'm going to take a route that is not, straight direct. I want to take a scenic route. So um, maybe I don't want to drive my car. I want to rent a car and do it. So there's a lot of different methods depending on what your goal is. So it's the same thing with the investing. So again, are you investing for retirement? All right. And if you are, if the answer is yes, well, what age do you want to retire? What year will that be that you're going to retire? Um, how long do you have? Right. So until you want to get there, how are you going to live once you do retire? Right. So people say I'm saving for retirement. Okay. Well, when are you going to retire? Like, I'll tell you my goals at the end here. I'll give you some examples of answering some of these questions, how I have for myself. And the great thing about doing these videos for me is hopefully I'm sharing, I'm enlightening you a little bit, but I'm really doing this to make sure my plans, have I done these things that I'm telling other people to do? So these videos are twofold, right? So, so point being is how long are you planning to live on that investment? You know, are you, if you retire at 65, do you have enough money saved to live to 90, to 80, to 70? Like, what are you doing? What if what if there's some magical thing that comes out and you're able to live to 150? Do you have enough money? You know, I don't think I'm going to go back to work. So will you keep investing after you retire? You know, or are you going to just be taking all that money? Hey, I made this much money. I have you know, $10 million. I'm just going to take it all out and I'm going to live off that, or I'm going to take it out and I'm going to live off the interest, or what's your plan? um, are you going to leave it in the stock market? Okay, well, how are you going to handle if the stock market goes down and you lose a portion of that? What's your plan then? So these, again, these are questions you want to dig deeper into. What are you doing? What's the process? What's the plan? As far as that goes. Now, that's if you're retiring, if you're investing for retirement. Maybe you're not doing that. Maybe you're just investing to be a money multiplier. Maybe you just want to earn a living through investing. Okay, well, if that's true, then what's your end game? Are you investing to try to make, and by the way, I will tell you, investing to um, live on a yearly basis is a challenging type of thing. You can do it, but a lot of people try. Is it like, I'm going to be a millionaire, or are you just trying to make $50,000 a year? Like, what is your ultimate goal there? And understand how much education and how hard that is. What are you going to do in a down market? What strategies are you taking if that's your end game? Are you maybe just rolling this money into real estate, which is something also I plan on doing? So is that something? Are you planning on, just like I said, are you living off the returns? Again, how are you going to handle bad markets? You can make money when the stocks are going up or stocks are going down. If you don't know how to, and you're trying to live off of the money you're investing, off your profits, then you probably need to learn how to do that, right? So these are questions, again, you want to ask. But maybe you're investing for passive income. I talk about that a lot. Dividends. Do you know what a dividend is? Okay, so if you don't, a dividend is something that a company gives off of their earnings to retain stockholders, right? So they want you to be a stockholder, so they give you a dividend. So if you're going to try to live off, now the good thing about dividends is they're typically given out quarterly. I think almost all the stocks I know of pay dividends out quarterly, and they pay anywhere from 10 cents a share up to, I think I've seen 75 cents a share. So there might be higher ones. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of dividend investing yet, although I plan on. Uh, but um, but how much do you need then? Okay, if you're going to be doing that, uh, what percentage of your investments go towards that dividend? Go towards dividend investing. Um, Also, how much do you need, again, is another thing. Like, how much do you need to make off your dividends if you're trying to retire, or you're passive, or you want your dividend portfolio to pay for your expenses? How much do you actually need? Are you watching these stocks? Which stocks pay the best dividend? Usually the dividends, the higher the cost of the stock, the higher the dividend. Sometimes that's not necessarily always true, but I have some stocks at $50 that pay out, a quarterly dividend of about 40, 50 cents. I have some stocks that are like $18, $19 that pay 20 cents. So, what's your plan? Do you just want to buy bigger stocks with bigger dividends, or do you want to buy a bunch of smaller stocks that have smaller dividends? So these are all questions that you want to ask. All right. So what is your goal with What's your goal? How are you getting there? What's your plan? What's the purpose of your trip? Right? That's the main thing I want to get at. So if you want to, I'll wrap up with kind of a small portion of what my plan is, because I don't want this video to go too long. But right now, when I have my investment money, so I make money 10%. Well, I have a 20%, but minimum of 10% going into investments, right? So my goal right now, I'm 45. I'm looking to retire when I'm 55. So I give myself a 10-year time horizon, right? Obviously, people say I want to retire at 60, but when I say retire, by the way, I mean that my investments, my passive income pays for all my bills, all my living expenses. That's my objective, right? So when I invest my investment money every week that I get from my paycheck, 20% of the investment money. So 20% of my income goes to investing, right? I say minimum of 10, I use 20. All right. So a portion of that goes to the investment. Now I have that investment money. So how do I break that up? Well, I have 20% of that goes into cash reserves, right? So I want to keep anywhere from 10 to 30% of my investment money in cash. Why? I want to be prepared for a down market. All right. So when the prices of stock go down, when the market goes bad, I want to have some reserves. And I've talked about this in other videos, but when the market is high, as it is right now, although the last couple of days it went down the last couple of days, but when the market is very high, you want to have more money in reserves, right? Because you don't want to be buying a lot of stuff. People think you have to be doing something all the time in the stock market, but investing doesn't mean you're doing something all the time. It just means you could just be putting that money in cash and holding it, right? So when the stock market's very high, you want to have closer to that 30% saved in cash reserves. You want to stop buying stuff because it's expensive, right? And then when the stock is low, when the stock market's down, like when there are a lot of red days in a row, people who are not investors, who don't know what they're doing, they get very upset because they're losing all their money. They see their portfolio going down. But real investors love red days. Okay. When the stocks go down, like they're rooting. Like most investors, if you look at who's talking about investing right now, it's like everyone who doesn't know anything. You know, Kardashians are talking about it, and Jake Paul, Logan Paul are talking about investing, and the barbershops and the makeup tutorial people are all talking about investing right now. You don't see Warren Buffett talking about investing right now. You don't see Ron Barron. You don't see the people who are typically the Wall Street people talking as much, because the market's really high right now, and they advocate for the market when the market's down. Everyone who's making money right now is talking because you don't need to have much knowledge to make money in the stock market right now. But it'll turn around. It always does. So when the market comes down, the long-term investors, that's when they want to make their pays. They want to buy low and sell high, right? They don't want to buy high when everything's going well. And a lot of people are like, oh, let me jump in because of FOMO, fear of missing out. And they buy high. And then when the stock market goes down, they get worried and they're like, oh my God, I'm losing my money. I better sell this stuff now. And that's called buying high and selling low. That's the opposite of what you want to do. Okay. That's called emotional investing. So you want to buy low and you want to sell high. And that in order to do that, you have to be prepared with a cash amount. You have to have money ready to go. So anyway, getting off topic. So 50%, so 20% goes to cash reserves. 50% of my investing money each week goes into what I call long plays, my stocks that I'm holding for 5+ years. And 30% goes into my speculative plays, my short-term plays, or my plays that are not as guaranteed. So I expect to lose that 30%. If I don't, great. Okay. But if I do, it was expected. All right. So as far as I already said, my goal is to retire at 55, and I'm planning to live till 90. That's my goal. So I got 35 years. All right. Hopefully I get a Neuralink and some genomics, and I can live longer and still have a good quality of life. But I'll deal with it then. Okay. But I want to have, my plan right now is make it till at least 90. All right. So I understand I could probably live currently off like $80,000 a year, but my life situation might change. I don't know. My plan is, your plan always has to be fluid. You have to look at it as life changes and the stock market changes and things change. But um, my plan is to live off $150,000 a year, which over 35 years, it might sound like a lot, but I know over 35 years, inflation's going to happen. And, in 2050, $100,000 is not going to be what it is in 2021. So the point being is, I'm planning for $150,000 a year. So that equals out to $5.25 million I need to have to retire at age 55. All right. So I have a couple of ways to get there. One is Tesla. Right. So my target for Tesla in 10 years is to be at $8,000 a share. It's at 816 currently. It's a Sunday right now. So but my target is that it will be at $8,000. I don't know if that's for sure, but that's what I'm planning on, right? So that means I need to have 656 shares of Tesla. I currently have 150 shares of Tesla. So I have to get another 500 shares, about, which comes down to about 50 shares a year. If it stayed at $800, which it's not going to, but I have to buy it as fast as possible, it's about $40,000 a year that I have to spend on Tesla stock if it stays at 800, which I don't think it will. So it's a challenge. So I got to try to do as much now as possible because I think it's going to go up. And anytime it dips, I'm extremely happy. Right. So I want to have that cash prepared for Tesla dips. But that's one strategy. Now I might also, I have to say, okay, well, my job, I only make between, depending, because I'm in sales, so I only make between $60 to $100,000 a year. So I can't spend $40,000 on Tesla stock. So I got to say, okay, if this is my plan, I got to find other methods to make money, to make income. Right, whole nother video. Another strategy that I have is dividends. Right, so I said, okay, well, if I want to make $150,000 a year, right, and I have an annual dividend of $1.60, right? So meaning 40 cents per share per quarter, that my company pays out. So it's $1. It's a quarter, 0.4 times 4 quarters is $1.60 annual yield on the stock. So for example, Walgreens is a stock that I own. They pay out 46 cents currently. They pay out 46 cents a quarter. All right. So they're at like $1.80, $1.81, something like that, annual. Right. So I said, I got to find stocks. So I want to have at least an annual of 1.6, $1.60 annually for dividends. And if I want to make $150,000 a year, I have to have 93,750 shares of a stock that pays out 1.6 year and dividend yearly. So I'm starting another portfolio where I work on that. It's a lot of shares, right? So now again, those shares aren't $800, like Walgreens is $50. I have shares of stock in MFC, which is a financial company that pays 20 cents per dividend. So again, my point is, I'm just sharing some of this information to say you need to dig in, take the time to dig in. What are your goals? Where are you going? Why are you doing what you're doing? And you need to have some kind of endpoint, and you need to have a plan and a goal. And now you know what you're doing with your money. So this way, you're not floating around. Every single new person tells you about a new stock. I have to shield myself against, once you start talking about money, everyone wants to tell you about their stock and their Bitcoin and their this and their that. And this is better and that's better and what's not better. And I'm like, you have to be able to weather that storm. And you can take some of that stuff and you can leave some of that stuff, but you have your plan. If you have your plan, like people tell me all about all that stuff, and I'm like, it's awesome. I hope it works for you. Um, and if it does something that's interesting to me, I'll look into it and I'll see, does it fit into my plan? If it doesn't, then I'm not going to invest in it, even if it's great. I hope everything that people tell me works for them. But I have my plan, and I take that information, but I make my own. I'll look at it, I'll analyze it if I feel like it, but I know what I'm doing, and it allows me to take in without having to, to hear everything without actually having to implement it. and being and swaying. All right, I've talked long enough. Hopefully this helped someone in a little bit. Please like and subscribe if you're getting some value from these videos, and check out my links below for Webull, for my the budget, the Wise website, which I'm working on, and yeah, I will talk to you soon. If you would like to support me and the channel and would like to get up to 4 free stocks, you can sign up with Webull so you can start your stock investing. There should be a link below or on the Wise website. You get 2 stocks just for opening an account, and you get 2 more stocks for funding it with $100. So you can get some pretty cool stocks for free, and I hope all of your investments are wise ones.